Hi, this is Nick Gross. I'm with B Team Engineering, and well, this is video one. We're going to talk about the auto drive from Gross Engineering, and we're kind of going to do a high-level video. We're going to talk about what you got in the box, kind of inspecting everything, and then we're going to talk about getting your press ready to go. This video is going to center around the Apex 10 from Mark 7. If you're here for the Dillon press, you can stay and watch, but we'll have another video for the Dillon presses after this. So while unpacking your box, you're going to find quite a few large and small items. Everything there is important, everything there matters and has a reason. So real quick, going for the small items, and we'll work to the large ones. So small-wise, you'll be shipped 4 M8x1 bolts. These will be used for holding the press to the base plate along with its own washer. They're blue for a reason, so you don't mix them up. You'll be shipped a set of M6 bolts. You'll have 2 different flavors. You'll have a 25mm and a 20mm. I know for the Americans in the room, they're not Freedom units. We'll get over it. You'll also, along with them, have a flange head nut for the M6s. Those will pair with the 20mm. And then you'll also have a washer that'll pair with the 20mm as well. Lastly, you'll be given a set of 4 M6x35 socket-headed cap screws with their own flange nuts. So these are all in batches of 4. They'll be packaged together as you get them. Now, if you're missing any of those or you're gone, you can run out to your local hardware store or just send an email to the customer service and we'll get you a bag out, and we're sorry in advance if that happens. Moving on to the other small items that come with it, obviously you'll get a shaft. This is an 18mm shaft. This is what'll go into the gearbox, along with 2 small sets of keys and 1 large set of key. Now you'll also get another key, and this key will marry up with the coupler. So this coupler will be attached or affixed to your press, and you notice that you'll have one side that is 18 and you'll have one side that is 22. The 22 is for the press, 18 is for the gearbox. Along with unpacking the smalls, we're going to move up to the larger items. So first off, along with the small items, you'll be given a set of sensors, a bullet sensor, a proximity sensor, and so on and so forth. So you'll be given a bag with the proximity sensors, which will come with 2 sensor heads, a bracket, and the enclosed flag. This will be all captured together with its own fasteners. The next sensor you'll be given is a bullet sensor. This is an IR sensor with the sensor itself, which is yellow, an aluminum bracket, and its mounting housing and fasteners. Its own bag. Now, following that, you'll also be given the touch screen. Now, the touch screen itself is very important when you unplug it to check the screen for any cracks, damage, or anything. If the screen's broken, it's not going to be usable and you need to contact us for a replacement. It's easy to fix, 4 bolts. Along with the screen, you'll be given a cable. The cable is a 9-pin D-sub, pretty easy. Following from there, we kind of move into the physical items. So you'll be given 2 L-shaped brackets with multiple holes. But these brackets themselves will be your motor or gearbox mounts. So they're the same bracket. Be careful, they might have sharp edges. Along with those brackets, you'll be given a mounting plate. Now, the mounting plate itself can be used in a few different ways depending on how you want to mount your press. Now, the plate itself is aluminum with mounting features, but the big thing we go off of is a non-threaded hole. It's the only non-threaded hole on the plate, and that denotes the front edge of the plate. So when you put it together, it's easier. The next big thing, the heaviest item in here, is the stepper motor. It'll be packaged in this foam. Along with it, you'll have a red bag, which is the keyway for the stepper motor. Don't lose this. Along with that, the stepper motor will come with 2 of its own plugs. This is important to point out that when you get these, to inspect these for damage during shipping. Things do happen. Last note, the stepper motor is a 15-pin D-sub. This is a 9-pin D-sub. They will not connect. Along with a stepper motor, you'll get a generic gearbox that will come with its own bag of fasteners, which we are not going to use for this application, and then also with a vent plug. We will use nothing in this bag. You'll get a gearbox. That'll come packaged as shown. Along with everything else, please inspect for damage, looking for caps, wear, and tear. Along with it, we recommend checking the fill points to make sure the system has gear oil in it. Please reference the manual itself for what type you need if you're empty. Lastly, with the gearbox, just to inspect, the gearbox will have a placard on it. This one's a little dirty. With the ratio it comes in, a 1:20, and the size. Our size is a 40, and then the generic one is a 1:20. Obviously, if you get a different gearbox, it'll have a different ratio on it. Last 2 things. You'll be given a 110 connector with adapter. If you're in Europe, this will look different for you to standardize to your plug, but this end will be the same. Now, lastly, you'll be shipped is your main control box. We call this the main control box. It comes with a few different features on it, but we're just going to talk through that real quick. So this is your main power input. You have a fuse connection. You're on and off. It's a tactile on. This is your sensor module and plug-in with your HMI and all your sensors. Your programming port is on top of the system. We'll cover that later. Lastly, just a note of fun. With these boxes, we recommend you mount them anywhere you want. Obviously, don't put them underwater, but you can put them vertically. You can put them upside down. It does not matter, however you wish. The whole box is aluminum, so feel free to mount and drill holes. Lastly, the 2 cable bundles come off are for the stepper motor. All right, let's start the assembly. Obviously, there's going to be a little disassembly as well, so we recommend that you get all your tools up front. So the big thing to start with is you're going to need a Phillips head screwdriver. Any Phillips will do. This is a Craftsman pre-bankruptcy, let you know, heirloom. Along with that, you also need a quarter-inch Allen key wrench. I recommend the ball ends. If you can have those, are perfect. Now, with the system itself, majority of it is going to be metric that you get from me. So we recommend a 10 millimeter ratcheting wrench. You can use an impact driver. You can use a hand crescent wrench or anything. Obviously, with power tools, use your best judgment. Along those lines, you'll also need metric Allen keys. So you need an M6 Allen key, an M5, and an M4. Those will correspond to the bolts and fasteners that we're putting in, but also with other things down the road. This is all you will need, minus potentially a hammer, depending on your press. I have a hammer. We'll grab it when we need it, but so on and so forth. All right, let's get started. So obviously the first step is going to be getting your press ready. Now this is an Mark 7 Apex 10. First major step you're going to do is you're going to remove these feet that come with the press. They just unscrew from the bottom. I've already done that for you, so you don't have to watch me doing it. We will no longer need those, use them or anything, store them accordingly. Along the same line of the press itself, you notice that on this setup, we have no components in the press. There's no brass, bullets, primers, or anything dangerous. That's for safety reasons as well. We've removed the physical handle as well from the system. That has been removed. It's follow the Mark 7 user manual. Grab our base plate. If you want to put any form of bottom adhesive or anything on the bottom of these for shock absorber, this is the best time to do it. If not, you'll figure it out later. So we're going to start with the plate in this orientation for the right hand mounting. You're going to look for that non-threaded hole. You're going to have it on the front side as shown. What we're going to be doing is taking the press, we're going to put it on the plate, and we're going to line it up with the 4 M8 bolts. So we're going to start, grab the press, just like you're picking up something heavy, because it is heavy. And we're just going to generically line it up. You're going to get close. Now what we're going to do is we're going to grab our 4 M8 bolts, and we're going to hand start all these. And all we're going to really do is line them up with the washer, and we're just going to kind of get them lining up. Now, there'll come a point later where we'll tighten everything, but this is not the point. Press is attached, all our bolts are loose, kind of there with the washer. Next step from there, we're going to start by assembling the gearbox. We got to prep the gearbox for mounting. So that'll involve obviously our gearbox, our 2 L brackets, and then our various fasteners. All right. So real quick, we're just going to start by making our lives easy. We're going to put the gearbox on a vertical, and we're going to grab the 25 millimeter bolts and flanges. With this press for the Apex 10, we'll be using the lower holes. It's pretty linear. We're going to go through. We're going to take our backer nut, and we're just going to snug it up. We're going to finger tight that. We're going to leave these loose, still as play. We're going to take the whole system, we're going to rotate it over, and we're going to repeat that. If you want to be fast, you can preload the plate. Take the flange nuts again. We're just going to do this. This is where if you want to use power tools, feel free. Obviously, you're not going to over tighten. Just a note to everybody, these are black oxided nuts, and I'll show you my hands here in a second, but your hands will get a grime on them, and that's just oil. If you really, something sensitive, feel free to wear gloves, so your hands will get a little dirty. So we have play, our gearbox is ready to go. Next, what we're going to do is we're going to take our gearbox, we're going to put it vertical. So these yellow caps are just there to protect it. So what we're going to do is So we're going to pull them off from either side. These are trash, throw them away. And we're going to take the system and we're going to grab our main shaft. All right, we're going to take these keys. Sometimes they're snug and it just requires a little love. So we're going to take a hammer, which I call love, and we're going to push those down. Same story. If you have an arbor press, use an arbor press. If you have a hammer, like me, use a hammer. So while we're here, we're going to take our longer key, which we'll use in a little bit, but not at the moment. And we will... Yes, cringe. Cringe, everybody, cringe. Obviously, it's not perfect. Use your plate if you need to. It doesn't matter. All right, so we're going to take the shaft. We're going to push it in. Same story. If we're still tight, we're going to take our hammer. We're just going to love. It's okay. There we go. Now that we have the shaft installed with its key, everything is still loose. You're going to take the keyway that you removed from the handle. So when you take the handle off your press, it'll have a key. You'll take that key and you'll put it onto its mating side on the Mark 7. Don't worry, you'll get a better view in a sec what it looks like. Next, we're going to take our coupler. There's an 18 millimeter side and a 22 millimeter side. 22 doesn't fit, so we're going to take the 18. We're going to line the keyway up with the shaft, and we're just going to give it a little bit of a press, just a little love. We might need that hammer here. We're just going to, I know, I'm a character. So we're going to take the press and we're going to line it up. So real quick, we notice that there's a keyway, and our keyway on the press is off. So what we're going to do is take the yellow cap off the top of the gearbox. We're going to take the manual input, and we're going to manually rotate this. I know it's tedious. And we're going to manually rotate the input until the keyways line up. So we're going to rotate it. We're going to get close. We're going to take this keyway, and we're going to push it on. Now, obviously, it's a little snug, and we're going to take our hammer, and we're just going to smack the end of this. And while we're doing that, we're watching these holes on the base plate for the mounting, and that's what we're really driving to. So we're just going to keep hitting it, and if you until we line up with the holes. As we can see, the holes are aligned. They don't have to be perfectly concentric. The goal of these brackets is to be loose, so we tighten them down. All right, everything's attached. We're there. If we need to, you can still manually crank this to get it aligned if you need to. So next we're going to take our M20s, or M6 bolts that are 20 millimeter long, and then we're going to take the M8 washers, and we're going to put them into the holes. Obviously, the brackets and everything should still be loose. We're just going to hand start these. So you're going to do the 2 in front, and then you're going to do 2 in the rear, same as before. The design of this drive is so that this entire assembly is aligned off of this connection. The goal of the L brackets and the motor mounts is so that the concentricity of the gearbox is driven off the concentricity of the press. So that's why we leave everything loose. We're just kind of working them down. Power tools would be nice. Cool. All right, so we have everything attached. Everything's bolted down. We have our motor, our press, everything is still really loose. So what we're going to do at this point, and this is kind of where your judgment comes into play, is what we're going to do is we're going to kind of look at the front and we're going to kind of center line where these are at to get the best fit. It doesn't matter, as long as this connection is maintained, this can be cattywampus. Now if your OCD takes over and you want to be perfect, you feel free to do that. All right, so at this point, we're going to switch to the next step, which is going to be tightening all the fasteners. We're going to start with the main press of the Apex 10. Again, the Apex 10 drives our concentricity, so we'll tighten her first. Doesn't matter which of the 4 you start with. I recommend you start by getting them snug, and we'll go back and do a retighten after we get all 4. If you wish, we could look at a torque spec, but the best way to think about this is a steel bolt going into an aluminum plate, so we're not going to call it torque spec. Now that all 4 are snug, we're going to take the Allen key on the long leg and we're going to turn it until it snugs. All this is doing is getting the machine locked in. You can do a diamond pattern, you can do whatever you want. I'm not going to stop you. Cool. Press is now firmly attached. Now with the gearbox, we're going to work from the plate upwards. So we're going to take our 10mm wrench. We're just going to put that ratchet on the side, and we're just going to snug it up. We'll start on the front. And same story. Snug those up, and then we're going to shift to the aft or the rear. Same story. With that done, we're going to shift to tightening these bolts. You might need a second wrench depending if it doesn't grab. In our case, we need a second wrench. So we're going to take these bolts and we're just going to tighten. Again, just snug. Repeat the story. This might get interesting on this side. There we go. We'll do the two in the rear. Just a note, when doing this, don't ever use Loctite. Even though you want to use Loctite, don't use Loctite. So with Loctite, you're going to run into the nature of if you ever have to take this apart again. With that, our gearbox is mounted, aligned, our press is mounted. Our coupler is still loose. We haven't tightened it yet. We don't necessarily need to tighten it at the moment, but at this angle, it's probably the best time to reach in there. So what we'll do is take our 4mm Allen key, and we're just going to snug these up. So with that all aligned, we're going to take the manual input on the press, and we're going to rotate. And we should be able to rotate and lift the press. Next step, we're going to put the proc sensors on. We're not going to energize the machine yet. We're just going to install these and get them close, and then we'll tune them once we have power on the machine. So you're going to open our bag. We're going to take our bracket. Our two proc bundles are identical to each other. And then our flag. So you can do the flag a few ways. You could install this and put the flag on separate. For me, I prefer doing the flag at this point. You'll notice on the flag, you'll have a T and a B, the top and bottom, and then you have an integrated 3D printed key. So you're going to take it, you're going to take the system, you're going to put it into the key, you're going to take the reverse side and push it in, like so. Then we're going to take one of the two M6 screws we're given, take the Phillips screwdriver, and we're just going to snug it. We'll do the other one, which goes on the top side. You can pre-install these and slide it over, but if you have this set up in another configuration where you can't get the shaft apart, you can disassemble it. There we go. We have our T on the bottom, or our T here, and our B. And then these two screws are for fine-tune adjustment. They're nominally put in, they're not perfect, and we'll tune those once we do our motion paths. So real quick, just a note, this is the sensor bracket, top hole, bottom hole. They're on slots, so you can fine tune or adjust it in and out, depending on what you need. I generally recommend putting the sensors in first before you put the bracket on. It's just a little easier to do. So you're going to undo one of the backer nuts. I usually move it back midway. We'll take the washer, spring washer, push it onto the front. And then we usually leave the front one off. It doesn't really matter. These washers are really a form of retention. We'll install it. Repeat the same for the other side. Again, both sensors are identical. And just for the nerds out there, these are inductive proximity sensors. So what they do is when they see metal, it disrupts the magnetic field that they're around, and they read something there. It's really the core of it. So they don't need to make contact. Their sensing window is about 4mm. So here's our assembly. We're back together. Now you have we're going to attach this on the outer cover for the swage. I recommend using the bolts that come from Mark 7, pull them all the way out, and put them back in. For the sake of the video, we're going to do our own bolts. I start with the top. I get it loose. And I start it with the Phillips. So right there, we're kind of there. We can tell we've already put the flag in a little farther than we need to. So what we're going to do is we're going to loosen these nuts. See what I said to do it before we put it on there. Not fun. And we'll just push that all the way back, like so. And we'll just move those in later. My hand blocking that. With those in, we'll tighten the screws, just get them close. We'll tune these later. Last little check with the flags on there, we'll loosen our flag. And we'll move it so it is centered with the flags. It just has to be close, doesn't have to be perfect. No move. Perfect. We're going to start by installing our motor. So real quick, just for the sake of education, this is a NEMA 34. All its placards and everything are on top, including the manufacturer. So you need to replace it. That's who you go to. So real quick, we'll take the motor. We're going to inspect it again for damage, just to make sure nothing's wrong, nothing's bad. At this point, we're also going to take our key stock out of the red bag, and we're going to take the key stock and we're going to push it in. If the key doesn't go all the way in, you want to force it. Absolutely do not hit this motor with a hammer. Next, we're going to take it. You're going to match the key with the other key. It does not have to be perfect. Push it down and then mount the motor. The motor, it doesn't matter which side the motor is fastened to. If you want your wires off to here, that's fine. You want the wires off the back, that's perfectly fine. I personally like them off the back because then I can zip tie and hide them. With the motor attached, we're going to take our 4 M6 bolts by 30, our socket cap screws. We're just going to push them through. We're going to line them up, check it, and then we're going to take the motor. We're going to make sure we're fully seated. Now there's a little bit of an air gap here, and we're going to start in the front. And we're going to take our key, or I guessed wrong. And we're just going to start it. Same story as before. We're going to leave them loose. We're just going to go all the way around, put all 4 in. Again, when you're doing this, just take your time. The big thing to remember is no Loctite. Obviously, torquing down. If you get to a point where these do shake loose or have issues, we can switch to an eye-lock. Generally, if you tighten them correctly, you do not need it. All 4 are on there. What we're going to do is now take our 10mm wrench. We're going to start in the front, and we're going to use the wrench to tighten. We're going to tighten them all. We're just going to get them snug. So, perfect. Things to keep in mind real quick. So we ship the system with a nominal gearbox, which is the 1-20. If you decide you want to go faster, go down a gearbox, go up a gearbox, whatever you want to do, what you'll be removing is those 4 bolts and then the 4 bolts on here, and pull that whole unit apart to change it out. Now, if you want to be lazy, you can buy a separate motor and build it out. That's fine. We do present that option. But generally, that's the workflow for it. You don't have to redo these brackets or anything else. You really just have to do these 4 bolts and these 4 bolts. With the press fully assembled, we're going to move forward with hooking up all our sensors, our motor, and our touchscreen. At this step, we're still going to leave the machine de-energized and unplugged so we can plug it in. All right, so let's start with the motor. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to grab our motor cable bundles. We're going to have a 4-pin and then our 15-pin. We're going to start with the 4-pin. We're going to take its matching component off the box. These are keyed, so there's only one way to put it in. You're going to attach these. You're going to screw them together. Firm. We'll take the 15-pin, same story. We're going to connect those together. There is a retention mechanism. We're just going to screw those together. Now the motor is fully connected. We're just going to move that 1.5 meters off. Once the motor is connected, we're going to grab our proximity sensors. There is an order to plugging these in. I'm just going to plug them in randomly, and when we turn the machine on, we will tune to figure out which ones go right. So we'll plug one of the proxies into 1 or 2, and we'll grab the other one and plug it into the bottom. Next, we're going to take our touchscreen. We're just going to put that up top. We're going to take our 15-pin D-sub cable, and we're going to plug that into its respective port. Here, I thought life would be easy doing it from the back. And we're going to screw in the retention, like so. We're going to take the reverse side, We're going to plug it into its matching port. And we're going to screw those in. So perfect. At this point, we should have everything we need to turn on the machine. We have the motor connected, we have our touchscreen connected, and we have our proximity sensors. Obviously, there are other sensors, and we'll cover that later, but this is the core functionality. With that connected, we'll take our power plug. We'll start by plugging it into the connector as shown. We'll take that connector, and we will plug it into an outlet. With the machine off, with everything on, we will turn the machine on. And with the machine on, you should hear a small fan in the system turn on, and you should see a screen. So with the screen on, we're going to talk real quick about the touchscreen and then the e-stop. The emergency stop button will stop the machine instantly. Any problems, you push it in. When you were done, release, motor is energized. Anytime, this is how you're going to stop it. So real quick, we're going to talk about how to set up and tune the proximity sensors for your press. It's pretty simple. We're going to touch the screen. You're going to see our disclaimer. And on the screen, you're going to get 3 menu buttons. This is the fully automated button, semi-automated button, and then our menu of options. We're going to hit menu. We're going to go to manual jog. We're going to hit 50 in the up arrow, and you're going to see the machine move. So what we're going to do is hit bottom, and we're going to hit home, and the machine will drive downwards. See how the machine stopped? Now, at this position, what we want to do is take a measurement of our tool head. So real quick, within our down position, we're going to take a pair of calipers, zero it out, whatever metric unit. So we're going to take our system, and we're going to, after homing, we're going to look for this dimension. My machine was pretty much on the money, so good guess, but we're looking for a 750 thou to 780 thou distance from the underside tool head to the bottom here. That's where we want this relationship to be. So real quick, I'm just going to show you, just for the sake of understanding the system. We're at tool head set, but we're going to show you real quick how to tune the flag or the position if you need to. Now, one way to do it is to move the procs through the nuts, but the other way, which is a little bit there, we're just going to lift it up, and I'm going to show you. We're going to take our handy dandy screwdriver, if we can get it in there. Let's keep going up. And we're just going to back it out a little bit. We're just going to unscrew it. I'm just going to show you what this does. So we're going to lower it. We're there. Now with that adjustment, earlier we were at 750 thou. We're now at still 750 thou. With our bottom proc set up, let's move to the top. So the top is going to be interesting, and the bet is going to be interesting because we're going to look for a perfect index. To do that, we're going to look for a few landmarks between the shell plate and your base. Now to do this effectively, we're going to be in our manual drive page. We're going to switch to the top function on the HMI, and we're going to hit the home button. The machine will start slowly moving up. During this time, I recommend you put your thumb or hand on the e-stop button. Once the shell plate starts to move, I recommend stopping it. Undo your e-stop. Hit the 10 button on the screen and jog with the jog button up very slowly to watch for in this location where your alignment features will hit. I'm now on the 5. You see, if we look, there's 2 holes or a pass-through will line up. We want to be relatively close. Once we're there, we're going to adjust our proximity bracket. For this instance, I recommend undoing the nuts on the bracket and rotating either them forward or rear to get it perfect. And what you're looking for is the indicator light on the proximity sensor to turn off. Bear with me as we talk. So I recommend you take your time. This is kind of a slow and steady game. What we want to do is be close so that we can use the actual screw on the flag to get the final dimensional control. So here we are. We've just moved the proximity sensor to be minutely there. We're going to hit the 50 on the manual control screen and hit the down arrow. We're going to move down until we hear an audible click, just like we just did. That click itself is the indexing call we're redoing. We're going to hit top and home, and we're going to see where we wound up with our best guess. If we look, we're pretty much on the money. Now, if we weren't, just to show it again, we're going to go back down. Hear the click. We're going to take that screw, and we're going to drive it out a little bit, which will lessen the stroke, or in, depending on what you want to do. So here, we'll see what that does to our system. We'll hit top and home. With that, we didn't go all the way, so we're just going to hit the down arrow. Now be mindful that our shell plate didn't fully index, guys. You might crush. So we hit the head, we're going to take our screw, and we're going to drive it in to make the full index. We're going to go a little past this time. We're going to hit top home. That time we went a little too far. What we're going to do is back it out. I know this seems tedious, but this is kind of how you get the perfect index, which is what we just did. So at this point, we have a good index and we have a good top position. If you want to do a final spot check on your system, I recommend taking the calipers from earlier, and we go and measure underneath the tool head. Should be roughly within 4 inches and roughly a 3/16 or up to a quarter, give or take. That's kind of the ballpark. This is something that's unique to your press that you'll have to tune. So our proximity sensors are set up correctly and we're good. Real quick, before we move out of this, we're going to hit top and home. And then we're going to hit bottom and home. And all we're doing is we are ensuring that our set positions are perfect before we move into our teaching. With the system, your press is unique to what Gearbox, press setup, and everything. So the learned value for what it takes to do one full cycle is very special to you, and we have to teach that. With that set up, we're going to hit top, home. We're going to go all the way up. If you want to, we're going to go all the way to the top. We're going to hit 50, and we're going to hit down. We're going to hit the back arrow. We're going to come out of the menu, and the first thing we're going to start with is our stroke setup. There's some instructions. You just went through all that, but the best thing to do is hit start. We're going to go up. The system is telling you it's learning. If at any time you have a problem or an issue, you can hit the e-stop button and it'll stop it. The machine will go all the way to the down and it'll learn the value, which is driving between the two systems. And then from there, it'll drive all the way back to the top. That last drive from bottom to top is the value it learned. And this is very important to see what the machine has done. When it's finished, we'll complete. From here to check our stroke, we'll go to clutch setup. You'll have your clutch values, and then you'll have your learned stroke. For this system, it is 1,602 steps for the stroke. We're good. We'll hit the back arrow. Now we're going to move to index. Index is important. It's basically telling the machine where the shell plate starts to move. So we're going to go to index. We're going to hit start. It'll take you to its own manual jog menu. You're going to hit the 50. You're going to go down. Wait for a click. We're going to hit home, and the machine will drive downwards. This is how it learns. Same story, it'll drive back to what you taught it to be at. Ideally, when you see it, the plate should not move. All right, last thing, primer setup. So primer setup has a different name as well in the control system called controlled seat. But best way to think about what we're going to look for is we're going to look at this assembly. We'll hit primer seat, hit start. And what we're going to do is drive the system all the way down until we see the rocker on this engage. And we're just going to look for it to minutely start. So like here we did, we don't want it there. We want to go just a little bit up. Perfect. Now, this value is arbitrary to what you want. You can set this value to be higher, but this is basically where the system will engage primer seating. You want to use this for if you're seating a bullet and you want the system to go really fast and then take its time, or if you want to, if you're crushing primers, it's really what it's for. Now, if you're doing brass processing or trimming or anything, you can set this higher. You can set it higher on the system so where this starts. So we're going to set it higher than it normally needs to be. We're going to hit home. So smooth. So with all that set up on the screen, we have now taught the stroke, the index, and the prime position. While we're here, we'll just talk about the sensor setup. We won't go into too much detail on this video, but in sensor setup, you're presented with your options. Right now, from the predecessor, we had powder and bullet set, and they're default on and off. But you can turn them off so that the machine will have them preset or queued to that port, but they don't have to be engaged. We're just going to save those. It's recording it. It'll tell you when it's recorded. If we wanted to add one, we'll hit port 3. Let's say I want to add an overall length check, and I want that to be default on. I'll hit save. We'll hit back. If we go back to sensor setup, we're still there. All right. So real quick, I don't want that default on because that'll be annoying. So once we exit, we're going to do one more check, and that's where we go to semi-auto. We're going to hit semi-auto. The machine will automatically home to the top. This is a homing screen just to tell you what the machine is doing. If for some reason it gets stuck in that screen, there's an escape. So real quick, we'll go to index. We'll hit top. Should index the plate. Hit bottom. Same story. Now I'm going to show you a little bit of a cool trick real quick while we're here. We hit top, and then we hit bottom. So this feature is really here to be the semi-automated feature, so you can do load development, die setup, troubleshooting, maintenance, whatever it takes. Real quick, I'm just going to show, we'll go to the top because it's a little more dramatic, but let's say we go to the bottom and we have an issue. Machine immediately stops. So I'll do the e-stop, we'll hit top, so on and so forth. So we've taught the stroke, we've taught our index, we've taught our prime. Let's go real quick and adjust our clutches. We're going to go in here, hit clutch. We have two values. Now, the way the clutches work, they're based off position. So we're just going to bump those to a higher number. But the best way to think about it is that this value divided by that value is the percentage of your clutch. You don't get more force, you don't get more. It's basically more position for the machine to struggle through before it alarms to you. So real quick, let's just make this, whatever we want it to be. Hit enter, hit save. We're good, they're retained. Now, if you ever come to this screen and these three values are 0, there's a connection issue with the cable, and you have to power cycle the machine. Hit back. So let's go to the run menu real quick, and we're going to go through 2 run flows. We're going to go through simple, and we're going to go through complex. Real quick, load button, rounds per hour. You have to enter the values. If you don't, the machine will pick a number for you randomly. So rounds, we'll click on it. Let's do 15. And let's make that at 1693 because it's a random number. We'll hit go, we'll hit load. The machine homes upwards if it's not in the home state, and we're ready to go. Now, in this screen, you have a few options. You have a run button, how many rounds we have loaded, which is a cycle, how many we're going to do. Our top and bottom clutch, that's the positional value. You said 250 and 350 earlier. That'll punch out the real-time values. We have an advanced settings button we can turn on. It shows you all your options. None of our sensors are on, but if we wanted to turn them on, we can. If we want to change our index speed, we can, and so on and so forth. So real quick, we'll leave this alone. We'll come back in a minute. We'll hit back. Let's hit run. So if you ever want to change the advanced settings, once you push the button, the machine will pause at the end of the stroke and go here. So let's go back to full. Let's do controlled seat, which is that primer, and then let's do single stage. I want to do one cycle and pause. So hit back, hit run. Keep going. We're done with single stage. I want to go really slow though. So let's say I just want to stop or wait. By hitting the pause button, we wait for the stroke to end. Now, if we're running, and I'll show this real quick, if we run into an issue and you have to stop the machine will instantaneously stop. It'll jerk a little bit. That's normal. Our arrow is an e-stop. We push it in. We'll undo the e-stop. We're presented with this. It has to home to get out of the air loop. All right, I'm going to show the other flow for how to run the automated system. We're going to hit the automated button. We're going to put how many rounds we want. Let's do 25. We're going to be a little brazen here, and we're going to do 2,500 rounds an hour. We're going to hit the advanced settings button. And now let's say at the bottom, I want to have a 1 second delay. So that's 1,000 milliseconds. And at the top, I want to have a 500 millisecond delay. And I would like my index speed to be 75%. And I would like single stage mode on. We're going to hit load. System homes. It's waiting for us to start. We're going to run. So obviously those are delays. Now let's say we don't like certain things that are going on here. We're going to hit advanced settings. And we want to turn off controlled seat. And we want full speed. And I'm done with single stage. I hit back. Hit run. Now, if you're frustrated with your delays and these are not the delays you want, right now you have to go back and start over. So you hit the back arrow, it takes you to main screen. Let's do another 25. Let's hit our advanced settings, and we'll come up here to the 500. And let's say I don't want a delay there, and I think a second is a little drastic. So I want 536 because we can. Hit load, system homes, and let's do it. Now I'm throwing powder. I would like to go slower. Let's hit 25%. We can see on the screen the bottom values are a 5 and a 1. That's kind of the mismatch or the alignment. Back to 100. Same story. I e-stopped it. Machine instantly stops. Now, key thing to keep in mind here with the e-stop, let's say you stop it for whatever reason. It doesn't matter. It's okay. You'll get the manual load page. Now, the manual load page, you can go up, you can go down, you can do anything you want. So if you have a bolt that topples, you capture anything, you can fix it. Now, with great power comes great responsibility. So a lot of instances where you can do a double powder charge is going to be in this event. Now, let's say we're on the upstroke and we've decided, okay, we're going to clear our air. I've cleared it, and I want to finish what I was doing, right? I'd like to go up. I hit home. But as I'm going, I have another issue. The second you hit e-stop again, I go back to the manual e-stop window. And let's say it's weird. I want to go down. I need to check it. Oh, I should undo my e-stop. We can go down. And let's say, honestly, I realize we didn't do something right, and I want to home it downwards. So you can do either way. The press is going to wait. You can stay in this loop infinitely if you want. Now, same prospect. If you have another issue you see and you need to manually drive it and you're stuck at the bottom, it's a little bit of a cheat. We'll fix this later. But if I hit the e-stop button and I hit run, the machine will go into an e-stop fail. We'll undo it. We'll hit Fuffy. And we can fix everything as well. Yep, it's painful. This menu is supposed to be slow and controlled for a safety reason. Okay, I clear it. We're good. Let's finish. Hit home. Do. And now the machine's waiting. So real quick, let's say we want to pause or wait. We're going down. I hit run. The machine will finish what it's doing and end to the top. Okay, let's finish it out. We're on the last 25. And the machine's ready to go. We can restart. Now your delays and dwells will be recorded and remembered for the power cycle. If we turn off the machine, it goes away. So real quick, let's just do 25 with no dwells. Let's go back to 100. So big thing, you'll notice this if you stare at your machine long enough like me. You'll see a delay at the top, and that delay is on purpose. The delay actually is to ensure all your sensors, your screen, everything is seeing it. It looks a little hectic, but your rate of speed is based off the entire cycle time it's going. That's given enough nudge to do what it needs to. So real quick, we'll just have a little bit more fun with the 25. All right, my patience level's low at the back arrow, and it'll finish what it's doing. It comes down and it resets it. Your speed will be recorded before you change it. Now, the round count will. So real quick, we'll just do this for fun. Let's hit load. All right, it already doesn't like us. You didn't enter a round. E-stop it, undo it, and our round count is going to be a 101. That was an interesting glitch. You all caught that. We're going to go fix that. But 101 is the default, so you get 101 cycles. So, yep. So real quick, we're going to talk a little bit of troubleshooting with the proximity sensors. The port 1 and port 2 are specific to which top and bottom. Sometimes when installing these, we get a little antsy and we get them wrong. So we're just going to plug them in the wrong way. We're going to put top in the bottom and bottom in the top. And then I'm going to show you classically. So right now our sensors are off. We're going to go to manual. Now, what'll happen in this event is if I hit 50 and I hit down, the system will go, right? But if I drive upwards, the machine will collide. And that's because our sensors are wrong. Now, the interesting thing here is if we undo our e-stop because we had a stop event and I hit the down arrow, it won't move anymore. And that's because the sensor for the bottom is now reading at the top and our machine is at the top. Basically, we have a false logic. So if you ever get to the state where your machine is premised at the top and the bottom and you hit the top arrow and you hear the machine struggle, that means your proxies are backwards. We'll put some logic into this to tell you in the future, but right now this is what you get. So real quick, we'll undo the e-stop. We'll unplug. We all saw it earlier, it didn't move. And we'll hit the down arrow. Hit home. So vice versa, if we all of a sudden magically unplug it, oh, that was the top. If we unplug the bottom, the system will stop immediately. So the fail state for this is if it ever loses continuity or sensor dies or anything happens, the machine will stop. It will assume it's at the prox. That's the way the logic works. So real quick, we'll hit home again. We'll finish it out. Cool. And that's it.